All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Hot on the heels of the video yesterday and the release of Cosworth's release support for iRacing in Pi Toolbox. Had a good discussion in some of the comments around uh, really kind of some of the more advanced features, comparing Pi Toolbox to something like Motec. We ended up talking quite a bit about constants and how you use that. So today's video, if you're brand new to data analysis, this is probably the little bit of the deeper end of the pool. This isn't where you're necessarily going to start, but I think it's important for everybody to understand what constants are, how they work, how you use them in Pi Toolbox, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how you can use this, particularly if you're dealing with a lot of different variables and different vehicles. So we're going to start today with a workbook that I've been working on that's really built on the one that Cosworth published as part of the light um, version of Toolbox 14. And so you can see right here, this looks very similar. The first thing I want to call out though is a lot of we would use constants for is use them in math channels. So typically they're going to be a value related to setup or related to the vehicle that you want to use in a calculation for your math channel. So it might be the spring rate that you're using. It might be the wheelbase of the vehicle. And so with iRacing, a lot of the setup information you actually get in the data stream, which is pretty cool. So the first thing I want to show you is actually just what that looks like. I touched on it a little bit yesterday, but one of the things I did add to my workbook because I do want to start doing sessions where I'm changing the setup and being able to compare that is I just actually gave myself some reporting to show what the current setup is. So all I did here is basically added a channel report to a new worksheet. And what I have here is, comparing two sessions. So this is the green session, this is the red session. And you can see I've pulled directly out of the stream the data that comes in the IBT file, camber in the front, front toe, rear camber, rear toe, rear wing setting. And here they're the same. I'm literally using the same outing. So the setups are the same. And then I've also got the actual suspension settings, right? So what's my bump and rebound on the shocks? What's the spring rate I'm using? Um, what's both front and rear as well as what's the ride height. So, if I want to use that as part of my math calculations, I don't actually need a constant. I can just pull directly from this channel as opposed to having to use a constant. But a good example of where you'd use a constant, I kind of mentioned this earlier. Here's a really kind of common math channel. If you go to Tools, Math, Edit, I've added a bunch of math channels to this workbook. And so something you'll see in pretty much any data analysis book is Ackerman steering angle. This is the theoretical amount of steering you need to give a car to go through a corner. Kind of a good way to gauge, understeer in a corner relative to what the car should be steering. And you can see in this formula, we're using a constant. That's the const kind of keyword here called wheelbase. And so I don't want to have to bake that in every single math channel. I just want to define wheelbase once and be able to use it wherever I need it within a math channel or change it as I change vehicles. So go ahead and cancel that. We'll go ahead and look at the constants. So the workbook that Cosworth shipped with V4 14 Lite has some constants already defined. I've already added some in, but you can see like, these grip factor, Excel cut, these help you to, this lets that channel determine whether or not it should be active or not. Like, am I actually accelerating or not? And so if you click on any one of these and use a little more drop down, let's make this a little bigger here, you'll see these are all what they call simple constants. So um, in this case, it just says type simple, you give it a value, and that's all there is to it. I can just hit plus, add one, type of value in here, and that's that. So it'll stick with the workbook as I go forward. Um, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and import some math channels from another workbook of mine where I'm actually using Excel. So this is what I do kind of in real life. Probably be doing this as well in iRacing, where I have a Excel workbook, which is out basically my constants for a given vehicle. And so Let's actually maybe start by looking at that. So what I do is I have a data folder, and in my data folder, I have multiple versions of this constants file that is for a given type of vehicle. This is the one for my heavily modified C7. This, whatever one I'm going to use, I just renamed to constants.xls. So let's go ahead and just crack this open, and we'll take a look. And here you can see, in this spreadsheet, I just have this. These names are just for me, so I know what it's going to be. And these are the values that I actually pull for the constant or for the constant names themselves. So front track, rear track, wheelbase. This is actually, it's funny. This is an older one where I was doing it in feet. All my math channels now expect it in millimeters. So I actually don't want to use this one if I'm going to do any actual analysis. But again, this gives me those fields and then gives me some notes to kind of keep track of. So actually, let's go ahead and load up new constants. I'm going to cancel this. Tools, constants, import. Okay, so those are all the constants I'm going to import. And I'm just going to overwrite the existing ones. X, next, finish. Now, if I go into constants and expand this just like I did before, you'll see that I have some, actually most of them now, this is still a simple one, are now these Excel constants. So all this is saying is load up this Excel file, go to sheet one, cell B3, and that's your value. And the cool thing is I can go change a value in the spreadsheet and actually have it reflected in Pi Toolbox. So let's just change that to 0.25 and save it. And now I just need to right click, refresh, and 0.25. So gives you a nice consolidated place to keep track of these constants, have different sets for different vehicles, maybe different tracks, different setups. And so that's how I deal with constants and math channels. Again, hope this is helpful for folks. But yeah, this works great for iRacing, works great for real life as well. So post if you have any questions. Again, I'm going to try to push out content fairly quickly based on questions I'm seeing. And have a great day.